on the road to WAC Vegas. Buzzer beaters galore. 3 games come down to the final seconds. Plus, the Havocs get ready for prime time. GCU will have their first ever home game on national television this Saturday. We sit down with GCU head coach Bryce Drew. Plus, a California Baptist player reaches a milestone. That's all ahead on the road to WAC Vegas.
New Mexico State going on to the tournament. Just a phenomenal game. What college basketball is all about.
Welcome to the road to WAC Vegas. I'm Kendra Sheehan. Chicago State has waited more than 3 years for a victory in conference play. This week, the Cougars' wish finally came true. CSU hosting California Baptist. Cougars' Deshaun Corbett fighting inside, off the glass and in. Corbett led CSU with 13 points, 9 rebounds. CBU down by 6. Dan Atkin grabs the pass, 2-hand slam. The grad student led the Lancers with 15 points, 12 boards. Game's tied at 56. Brandon Betson takes it up the court. Less than 4 seconds remain on the clock. Betson drives to the hoop, gets the jumper to drop, and Chicago State wins their first WAC game in 3 years, a final of 58-56. We go to Abilene Christian. Sam Houston looking to get back into the win column. Jaden Ray, the alley-oop, Savion Flagg with power. 1-hand slam. Flagg salutes for 25 points and 9 rebounds. This game goes down to the very end, ACU trailing. Arion Simmons drains the triple to tie it all up at 63. With less than 5 seconds remaining, Ray has the space, the mid-range jumper off the backboard for the win. Bearcats get a huge road win against Abilene Christian, 65-63. Sam Houston now 3-1 in conference play. The Wildcats also in our featured game this week, ACU hosting Stephen F. Austin on Thursday night. The Lumberjacks looking for their first ever WAC win. Gavin Kinsmill from deep gets it to go before the shot clock expires. Kinsmill led the Jacks with 13 points, 7 rebounds. Wildcats looking to remain undefeated in conference play. Reggie Miller forces the turnover. Arion Simmons will finish with a slam. Stephen F. Austin up by 9. Calvin Solomon with the slick bounce pass, and it's Nigel Hawkins to put it away to increase the lead. After 19 days away from gameplay, SFA earns the road dub and their first WAC victory, 64-58. This week's featured game will air on ESPNU. Tarleton, who won 2 games this past week, will face one of the toughest college basketball environments in the country at GCU. The Lopes averaging more than 6,000 fans while riding a 4-game win streak. Tip-off is on Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We will hear from Lopes head coach Bryce Drew in our next segment. The Texans, meanwhile, taking home a couple of awards this week. Taj Small, who averaged 23 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 2 steals per contest, is the WAC Ticket Smarter Player of the Week. Small scoring a career-high 28 points in a win over Sam Houston. Noah McDavid takes home the Ticket Smarter Freshman of the Week after scoring 9 points against the Bearcats. Let's go to South Texas. Grand Canyon taking on UTRGV. Lopes unable to arrive until the day of the game. But it doesn't impact their energy. Javon Blackshear Jr. is patient, hits the jumper at the buzzer to give Grand Canyon a double-digit lead heading into the half. GCU connecting on offense. Hall and Woods the second, alley-oop to Sean Miller-Moore, their 3rd this game. The Lopes earn their 4th straight win, remain undefeated in the WAC with an 84-70 win over UTRGV. We now go to Orem, the old Hammer rivalry game as Utah Valley hosts Dixie State. Fardaz Amac on fire early. A 3 as the Wolverines jump to an early lead. 20 points, 17 rebounds from the big man. Trailblazers looking to chip away at the deficit early in the second half. Dancel Leader hits the jumper to cut the lead to 10. Amac the alley-oop to Tim Fuller for the slam. UVU gets it done 79-71 over Dixie State. GCU is 12-2 overall and 3-0 in the WAC. Coming up next, I'll sit down with head coach Bryce Drew ahead of the Lopes' first nationally televised game. Stay with us.
Fans, welcome back to WAC Vegas. as we celebrate more than a decade of madness at the Orleans Arena. The 2022 Hercules Tires WAC Basketball Tournament, March 9th through the 12th. In this year, there are even more games to watch, with 20 teams in Las Vegas. For ticket information, go to wacsports.com.
Welcome back to the road to WAC Vegas. We have a special guest joining us, Grand Canyon men's basketball head coach Bryce Drew. Coach, the Lopes are 12-2 right now, 3-0 in the WAC. Do you like what you're seeing as we get deeper into conference play?
Well, anytime you win a game, you're happy as a coach, moving on to the next one, especially in conference when, games are so difficult, so challenging. It has been tough from a practice perspective with some COVID protocols. We've only played, I believe, 2 games in like the last 23 days. So our guys are definitely getting tired of practicing. I think they're definitely ready to play more games.
With what you had mentioned with, the practicing and games being canceled or postponed at different points of the season, like all teams have had, you've had different guys out sick or different guys feeling under the weather. How big has this next man up mentality been for this group?
I think across the country, whatever sport it may be, I think depth is really important. I think, the practice time, making sure that you have players, ready and just staying mentally focused. Years ago, you might have your rotation and it was pretty set. But the next man up, like you said, it's more true now than ever because you just don't know day to day, who's going to be on your roster, who's going to be available, for that weekend to play games.
When you look at your depth chart and you look at the guys that you have on the roster, Sean Miller-Moore, Tayshaun Cherry, Gabe McLaughlin, lots of players on the team, Javon Blackshirt Jr. I mean, who is your go-to when you're struggling during a game? Who do the guys turn to on the court?
One thing we really enjoy about our team is we have a lot of players that can accept that role, depending on what the defense is doing that game and opportunities that are coming for us offensively, but then also on the defensive end, we've had, guards really, have impactful games defending. We've had some of our bigs, be our best defenders on the court. And so what we enjoy about our team is the depth and the versatility we have. In different games, different guys have stepped up. Our backcourt has been kind of our stronghold so far consistently with Javon Blackshear and Holland Woods. They've been really good and we need for them to be good all year.
Now, I had the opportunity to attend one of your games when Grand Canyon was hosting the men's soccer tournament, and I was absolutely blown away by the atmosphere. I mean, you've coached at Valpo, at Vanderbilt. This environment, it's unlike anything that I've ever seen. What has it been like to have fans back this year, and how big has that role been in aiding this team in their success this season?
Yeah, as a coach, I'm glad you got to experience it because it's hard to talk about if someone hasn't really been here. Because I've been in basketball my whole life. I've been all over to games all across the country and pro level, and our experience is just so unique. Like I tell people, if you come one game in our arena, like you will not be able to walk into another arena and see it the same way. It just changes your whole perspective, just with the energy and the excitement. And again, it's literally a whole show in itself for the 2 hours from start to finish, from the time you walk in to when you leave. And I'm thankful as a coach, we have this type of environment, and our players are thankful. And, we're excited, hopefully, to get more people like you to get to see it and really appreciate what we do here.
People were telling me at the WAC office about the environment, and I really didn't, fully grasp it until I was there. I mean, I was blown away. The 20 minutes beforehand, it was like a whole concert. I had my phone up, I was recording it. It was amazing. I just couldn't even believe it. But you got Abilene Christian on Thursday night. Now Wildcats are playing tough basketball. What is it going to take for this group to get through this one?
They've won 72 games the last 3 years, 2 straight NCAA tournaments, round of 32 last year. It's a winning program, a winning culture. They're one of the top teams in the country forcing turnovers. So they have an identity of, who they are. And so, it's different for us. We haven't played a team that's going to put the defensive pressure on us just to be able to pass the basketball and really swarm, the ball like they do. So, it's something that we're going to have to get used to. There's several teams that joined our league from the Texas area that play, pressure defense. And so it'll be a great test for us and also a starting point for us, on how to improve, after this game, after we face it.
After you get through Abilene Christian, Saturday game against Tarleton is televised on ESPNU. The Lopes hosting an ESPN national broadcast for the first time. What type of exposure does that bring to your program?
I was very thankful I got to work at ESPN a year, so I know a lot of the, producers, people there, and they're all like, man, we got to get a GCU game on. We got to get a GCU game on, because they were here for the Final Four years ago when they did the dunk contest here, but never for an actual GCU game. And they all know just how exciting it is here. So, it's a huge deal, for our whole school, for our program, and just for people across the country to see what you got to see in person, to see a glimpse of that from TV. So needless to say, I think our whole campus is super excited about both games, this weekend.
When I spoke with Javon Blackshear Jr. during basketball preview days, he had told me that he felt like he took a really big leap this season. And we've already seen dynamic plays from him. MVP against San Francisco, his career best against UTSA. How have you seen Javon take his game to the next level?
The two biggest areas is his leadership. He's really matured, learning our system. And now he's sharing that with other players and trying to raise their level of play, which is really fun to see as a coach. And then his shooting, this offseason, he spent, a lot of time in the gym, working on his shooting. And there's a significant improvement from, last year to this year with him. So, as a staff, I don't think we could be any happier, than where he's at and just the jump that he's made from sophomore to junior.
You had some big wins in the non-conference slate, especially over San Francisco, who was undefeated at the time. How have you seen your team come together in crucial moments to pull out a win? That is what you'll like to see as we get deeper into conference play. That'll become pretty important.
When you get to conference, every game is really competitive. So many games go down to the last minute. And so you're going to be in tight games. And the San Francisco game was a great opportunity for us to have a lot of game-ending situations just in that last minute alone. And, thankfully they missed their last shot and we were able to win by one. But hopefully that gave our guys some confidence, but experience of being in a close game and knowing that you have to execute all the way through the buzzer.
Coach, is there anyone that has surprised you this season on how they've developed as a player and kind of made some big moments when it was needed for the team?
One player, Gabe McLaughlin, our power forward, he was a reserve off the bench behind two all-league, frontline players we had last year. And Gabe has really taken more responsibility on his shoulders. He needs to be, our frontline player that's able to score for us and then rebound and step out and defend on the perimeter. So his game has had to really expand, this year. And he's kind of taken that responsibility and knows that he needs to, play well for us. So it's been kind of just fun to see him, accept that responsibility, want it, and then work to get better at it.
How important has this team chemistry been? I know in that UTR GV game, Holland Woods to Sean Miller Moore, I mean, their connection on the court, I think they have 3 alley-oops. It was pretty incredible to watch. How have they developed and you've seen your team become so close-knit?
We have a lot of transfers. We have and freshmen, about 8 new players this year. And so getting that cohesiveness, that chemistry takes time. And, they're both 5th-year seniors, so they have a lot of experience, play with a lot of players in their career. And they just have a connection there. They kind of know where each other's at on the court and, can really feed off each other. So our crowd loves it. It's an exciting moment in our gym when those two can connect for an alley-oop. So hopefully we see a lot more of those, the rest of this year.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Wish you the best of luck this week and on Saturday as you have that game on ESPNU. When we come back, we'll have more women's basketball for you. Stay with us. back to the road to WAC Vegas. California Baptist freshman Trinity San Antonio put on a show in her first career start against Chicago State. San Antonio knocking down 24 points and grabbing 7 rebounds to be named our Ticket Smarter Freshman of the Week. Abilene Christian's Taylor Morgan took home the WAC Ticket Smarter Player of the Week award after scoring a career-high 21 points in her first career start in the Wildcats' road victory against Sam Houston. The Wildcats then traveling to Nacogdoches to take on Stephen F. Austin in our women's featured game of the week. Lady Jacks come out with energy. Stephanie Vischer on the inside takes the pass, lays it in. SFA up by 13 after 1 quarter. Wildcats digging into the home team's lead. Morgan Taylor swipes the ball and takes it coast to coast for the layup. Stephen F. Austin continues to build off their lead. Ayanna Johnson gets in the paint. Johnson led the way with 20 points, 10 rebounds to lead the Lady Jacks to an 81-65 win over ACU and improve to 3-0 in the WAC. At the start of the season, Utah Valley was predicted to finish 4th in the preseason coaches poll. But UVU is still searching for their first win in the WAC this season. They will be our featured game of the week against California Baptist. The Lancers are currently on a 5-game win streak. Tip-off is on Saturday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time on ESPN+. Each week we highlight the top plays that we see in our WAC Top Play segment. This week, GCU's Chloe Akin-Atiko was in contention after knocking down a 3 with under 5 seconds to play, giving the Lokes a 73-72 win over Lamar. The former runner at the University of Kansas stepped up when needed the most. Congrats to Grant Solly for his gift of an ACU screaming player that gave our office a good laugh. Grant is this week's winner of our tickets to WAC Vegas. Each week, we are giving away tickets on our social media accounts. This week, make sure to follow our WAC Vegas account on TikTok for your chance to win. We are down to just 8 weeks until we'll be at the Orleans Arena. I'm Kendra Sheehan. See you right back here next week.